Okay, folks, last 10 seconds. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you guys. I hope you got connected with a few new folks today. If you haven't connected, just wait for the break time. We have a networking session as well.
Hey, hi everyone, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, you are audible, Amitesh.
Yeah. Thank you very much for letting me know. All of we are from a professional, yeah, a student at college student will become.
Hey everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's please wait for a couple more minutes for everyone to join, and we can start off with today's session at 2:35 exactly. Thank you.
enjoy working on it. And coming to my hobbies are actually gardening, and I like to play badminton. And recently, I have completed my internship from Food. And these are for myself. Thank you. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is one of the pillar of the roots. It is object-oriented programming language, and the name itself says like many forms. Suppose like let us go with an example like we are having a parent class which is having a shape, and by using the this object check.
Sunil Reddy, are you in interview?
So, good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to Swift Bengaluru's online meetup. I hope all of you are having a great weekend, and I think we are good to start off with today's session. Yeah, so without much delay, let's quickly have a look at the agenda for today's session. Yeah, so we have 3 sessions planned for today. So the first session will be starting at 2:40 exactly by Amitesh, which is basically going to be on users Swift Realms. It's going to be a deep dive into the Realms database, and which is followed by a session by Anubhav Singh. So it is going to be on open source with iOS. So our last session will be at 4 o'clock, and it is going to be on the it is basically on the personal brand to elevate our iOS careers. So all the 3 sessions are going to be very interesting. I'm sure everybody is looking forward for the sessions. So yeah, without much delay again, let's start off with our first session for today. I would like to welcome Amitesh for today's session, and basically giving a very brief intro is he's a software engineer at Upstock. Yeah, hi Amitesh. Yeah, all yours.
Hey, hi everyone. Good afternoon. Please let, uh, yeah, my name is Amitesh Tiwari. I'm working with Upstock since past 2 years, and closely working with fintech company to developing for product traders. And apart from my working in like free times, I will try to guide my juniors college students. And in the past 3 years, past 4 years, I impacted more than 9,000 students, and this is my 36th talk And after 1.5 years, I'm giving these talks. So I'm a little bit excited about giving talks and collaboration with Swift Bangalore. So today topic is about Swift Realm and how Realms works and why we need to select for your startup. So could you please give me permission to share the screen? Am I audible, Kirti?
Yeah. Yes, Amitesh. Yeah. Please give me a minute. Yeah, we're giving you access to share here.
Yes, sir. Oh, wait. Uh, Oh, Kirti, I need to again quite and reopens because I think I don't have except Zoom daughter. Just I'm joining.
Yeah. Amitesh, just a minute. We're just working on it. Just a minute.
My screen is visible.
Yes, Amitesh.
Oh, okay. It's a PPT now. Okay. It's pleasure to be there. I'll be taking you through an exciting journey into world of Realms database and Swift. Focusing on its application in the Swift Bangalore community database, I have created one small project, how it's worked. First of all, we will explore an overview today. Why Realm and why it's preferred choice for iOS developers. We will dive into its key features, compare it with core data, and then step through practical example from our community project. I will share some best practices and advanced technique that we can use to optimize your application too. I will be taking a question and answer end of the session. Okay. So then first, why Realm? We know that Realm is a versatile database. Before starting like about why Realm, how many people know about what's Realm? Yeah, work with Realm. You can answer in the chat box. Yeah, it is likely to collect working one. Okay, yeah, it is glad to hear that few people working with it and some people hear about. Oh, Realm is a versatile database suited for the high performance and real-time application. And we can say it's a traditional database which allow for more fluid and responsive user experience. And why it's so important? Because it's a cross-platform support and high performance and low memory footprint. And easy to use APIs related with object-oriented. And second thing, it's a seamless data persistent for offline applications. We have compared to when we will try to compare with another database, SQLite and core data. If queries per second, when we look on the query per second, so this is the database, like this is the graph I have taken from MongoDB official websites. This is the 30 per second queries we can
Hi, Amitesh. I'm sorry, I think we lost you. We're not able to hear you.
Hi, I'm very sorry. I don't know why I left. That's why I hate online session. Please let me know my screen is visible. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I was discussing here the key features and Realm architectures. It's a object oriented, store data as a Swift object. I will show how it's work in we store the things in the object form, not in a table form, and it is easier to manage and align with Swift natures. Uh, it's like when we creating any live objects, always up to date. It's changing the database reflect instantly in your app, and I will show with my project that and multi-version concurrency handles like multiple read and writes method conflicts, and it's a reactive programming. मतलब get a notified of the data changes because it's a internal feature for notification when we are creating any data and we are trying to configure, and then it's update by notification. It's a quickly to on the database and easy UI update and integration with reactive frameworks. So I will go with my project first of all, then it will be work how like key feature include like zero copy design and live object, how we are able to sync with across the device seamlessly. And most of the time, this feature ensure that your app remains responsive and up to date with the latest data, even on mobile networks. Most of the time, people have confused that Swift Realm is a in-memory database, yeah, disk database. How many people know that Realm is in-memory, yeah, disk database? Could you please answer? Anyone know? Yeah. By default, Realm database is disk. It's configure what we can do for in memory. We can configure to use a Realm as in memory database in Swift, but it is a by default data automatically saved to data, and this means that information when we are saving the app stay there even when you close or reopen the app. And it's just like saving a file on your computer. The file is still there when you come back to it later. So mostly we can one people answer that Realm is both uh, in memory and disk. Yeah, but it is by default disk database. Uh, um, then we will go through with the setting of Realm in iOS project. How we can do? We have three way we can we can configure Realm with our project. But today I will discuss CocoaPods. And if you need any help for Swift package manager and Cartage, you can connect on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can message after the talks. I will help you. But today, I will guide how can you can set. Like just we need a one project. Like just today, I have created Swift Bangalore community project, and in the particular file Swift Bangalore, when we are creating project through Swift, I'm not taking help of a storyboard and Swift UI. It's a UI kit based. So I have added a Swift Bangalore community a project name. Inside the Swift Bangalore community, we run the command pod init, then pod will create, and inside the pods, what type of like you want to add the particular pods which help you to configure with your Swift project. For now, we need a Realm Swift. So particular pods for the Swift Bangalore community, we need a Realm Swift. We just write here in a target Swift Bangalore. This is the by default we get with Swift when we are creating our project, but we need to be add particular pod, which type of pod we are using. For now, we are using Realm Swift, so we added Realm Swift, and then after we just need to be safe, and we need to run the particular folder pod install. Then automatically the pod file will create. Then after we need to start with our project. So I have already added a project with I will explain how it works and how Realm we configure with control model, and how we need a services. With this project, we will also learn how the MBBM architectures we can take with the Realm, and configuring the solid principle. Also, we will learn how I have created Realm. Like when we are creating, when we are designing any project, we have to be mind to be it should be written as well. In future, any new developer want to configure new logic, add to new points, they can easily add. So for now, hopefully you understand how the we can set up Realm in our iOS project. Am I right? Okay. So then after, I will come on the topics like basic CRUD operation, how it's performed, create, read, delete, and update any database MongoDB, and any where we know that every database somewhere performs the CRUD operations. But why this is like a specific Realm? Why we select? Because like setting up Realm in our iOS project is a straightforward. And first, like we have implemented function to add and delete, and it's these operation are intuitive and involve minimal uh, bilateral plate codes. We don't need to make a complex. You can see for read, we have to create realm.object and members, what type of members you have created the particular objects. So when it comes to the projects, I will explain like the basic features. These features, basic CRUD operation, advanced techniques, and best practices with our projects, what I have created. So let's understand how it's work with projects and basic operation. Let's first of all, when we have in particular database, every member of Swift Bangalore will going to be fill the form, and we have a specific requirement. Yeah, full name, email, and particular join date. Join date, like which particular date and times the person fill the form. So for referencing in a member class, previously I explained that Realm Swift is supportive for the object oriented, and in a CRUD operation from the backbone of our data management, and we learn how to create, read, and update and delete. So here we have member created, then this particular members will have to be initialize the Realm service. So you can see when we are implementing MVVM architectures, I have created a specific folder where it's will deal with the database and API related things in a network layer. So it's the service where I have created a Realm service efficiently that will explain our project, mostly which type of model and which type of class, like Realm sub, which is a crucial component that abstract the database operation. uh, Here you can see this is a particular ad. I have created ad and a generic form, like T can be any like formats. We don't need to be always when we are creating for high level, yeah, for a startup, yeah, for any companies, we for not override, we need to be make their generic add, delete, and update. And the fetch members, the particularly this Realm service layer ensure that what the view controller remain decoupled from the direct database access logic and adhering to good software design principle. That's I have told you that it is a solid. So it's a responsibility of this class is to adding the particular add, delete, and update and fetch members. Configured. Uh, I have deleted the particular storyboard abstractions, like so I have added like UI window and root dot window.
Amitesh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I was explaining and I was on mute. So first of all, I explained that it's a start with model definition where we have created the particular what the class which extend realm.swift object. This include properties like ID, full name, email, and join date. This define the model early is crucial as it's represent the schema of your database in Realm. Then it's come to the service, Realm service. It's a crucial component that we abstract the database operation and deleting, updating, and fetching the data. And it also ensure that the the view controller remain decoupled from the direct database access logic. And then it's always support to good design principles. So always we need to be take care of like how we are creating the function name, how we are making the particular add, delete, and update and fetch members. Then after it's come to the view model. A view model to interact between the view controller and Realm service, and it uses a Realm service method to perform data operation, and it's also provide abstractions layer that UI can consume. This component is likely to be developed after the service layer, which facilitate the operation that UI we need will need to implement with particular services, just like update the members, fetch recent members. Then it's come to the view controller. With this model, service layer and view model in the place, we have interact with the member view models. We have created an instance of member view models, and this control manage the user interface, handle user interaction. I will not deep dive into how UI kits works. How you can see like view models, and when we created the view models, member view model instances, observe the members particular with what update, like in a update we are deleting particular row, yeah, insert. So in initial state I told you that with the help of members notifications, it's provide automatically provided inside in Realm to notify which type of data we are updating. It's concurrently, and what's update are going on. So then after lastly, this implementation, you can see that changes through Realm notification token in the member list controller, ensure that what the UI is always in sync with underlying data. This part, like always remember this part of implementation, always tie the previous step together, what we are trying to functioning as a user interface. So hopefully you will understand how the like the works, the members, Realm service, and the view model, what the role of view model, and then what the role of view controller, and how the view updated. So wait a minute. Let's jump this. I want to be create the CRUD operation. You can see create, read, update, and delete. This the 4 point like Realm service. I will be added. I will try to delete. I will try to update. Okay. Let's zoom. I'm adding one name, Amitesh. Amitesh@gmail.com. See, the first, I told you that the model we have created member, where we are sending the name, email, and with join date. So this directly saved to the Realm database. You can see we are adding inside the Realm database. After add the object, adding the particular realm, it will be notify to the tables, and it will be so here, like it's an update. Let's assume we want to update here. See here, this update, and what's we are updating? We are listening the Realm services here, to which type of things we are updating. This will be called here. You can see previously it was Amitesh, now it is Amitesh money. Then it will go to the controller. So controller, what we are updating the table, and so particularly I have updated, and then after again, if I will be create a Ravi at the rate gmail.com, again it will be follow like it's at the feature particularly, and the second one, it will go on the view models, and then it will be update. Third name for delete at the rate gmail.com. Sorry, this I'm trying to relating it. So first, Realm database, it's a delete the object particular, which type of data we are updating, and like in a live updatation, if we are deleting the database, automatically it's a reflect on your UI. You can see it's also will be it will be disappear on from UI 2. Now then, hopefully you will understand how the create, read, delete, and update things works. We create instances of the object member class, and then it's went for the service layer, Realm service layer, and where we write the code related with read, write, update, delete, and always here. Just I've taken example. This is not a dynamic and generic way, but with the project, I try to create a with generic way, which like it's not defined. T will be a string, T will be any forms. It can be any objects. So hopefully you will understand of the CRUD operation. You have any questions with CRUD operation? Okay, John, I will take your question later. So in with CRUD operation, did you get? You have any question related to CRUD operation? All good, thank you. I'm hoping that you know it clear about CRUD operation. Then it's come to the advanced technique, and John asked about migrations and how it works, and with realms. It's come under advanced technique. We need to be, and but notification part we already discussed how the observe realm notification. When we are updating the data, it's observe the data and it's updating the UI too. So migration in when we discuss about the migrations, I will show you previously when I have migrated the object, particularly object inside Xcode project. Previously in the skin delegate, you can see here it is a small configuration where I want to migrate the particular from name to full name. like it's a rename the property, particular property. When we are doing migration, so always remember 4 point, like 3 points. Each schema change should increase the schema version. Particular what schema version we are using, it will be increased. This is a 2. It will be increased, and custom logic for how data is migrated for old schema to the new schema, like this schema logic that's we have implemented. And automatic field handling, what new fields are automatically added and initialized, and what will be default values. And so here you can see from we are migrating member.class name from name to full name. When we are migrating from name to full name, we need to also change their members here too, because rename from its name to. So member object is also be uh, reflected. uh, like Realm configuration mechanism always trigger when it detect which type of schema version of your app has changed. Yeah, your specific new schema version. Yeah, describe how to migrate data from previous version. So setting, when we do setting with your particular migrations, I have taken inside the scheme delegate. So remember for now two thing: increment the schema version or define the migration logic. Here I have added the realm.configuration, and here the schema version, and here the particular migration logic what we need. So hopefully, John, you have clear now. Okay. Particularly, I will take this all question because it's important, and I will take later all the John's ask about your app migration when you want to be remove the particular database. Yeah.
Amitesh, where we will do this configuration, like schema version and all, how does it know, like, that- I mean, how, say, like, I'm starting
Okay.
a new database. So how do I define that schema version, where all those configurations will be done?
Okay. Mostly you want to ask that what we are like in the realm. Mostly migration logic is typically configured with your like within your application initialization code. Often place your app delegate file, like in a dedicated configuration file, you can say. So most of the architecture level, like migration logic is typically configured when our app initialization code have often placed. Why it's so? Because this approach helps centralize the database configuration, and it also, as per my knowledge, it's ensure that like app launch, like how the app launch cycle work, and making it easier to manage and maintain. Though placing my like most of the time we try to move the migration logic in app during the app initialization.
Okay, my question was more like when you saw on the first version of this app, where like CRUD operations is displayed. So at that time you had this Realm configuration, right? And then schema version is one, and then can you show that one? What was the initial configuration? And we are probably updating that configuration here, right? Is what I understood.
Okay, I got it. You want to say that what the schema version with your app version, it's from like when we are managing your help. Am I right?
Not exactly. Say like first time I'm building this Realm, right?
Yeah.
I will have some configuration. So in the first demo, where is your configuration? So that in this configuration, you are defining, I think, a schema version as 2. And then in the migration block, I can see old schema version. So from where this old schema version be coming? It should be coming from our initial configuration somewhere, right?
Wait, so first of all, what we are schema version incrementing, it's totally independent. It's like it's a common practice to increment the schema version independently of the app version. It doesn't mean that like if you might to increase the schema version multiple times within the same version, we are taking the several changes to the database during the development. It has no any conflict for your what's the previous your app version, but your new. So if it's like common changes, but we are going with the particular like incrementing the schema version, it's totally independent.
Is it Ajay, is it sorry, I'm just trying to understand, are you asking similar to what code data we do the versioning update and add a new version? But at the same time, you can see the previous version in the same code, right? And how do we do that in Realmm?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, that's what you wanted to know. You wanted to see. How do you know the schema version 2 has the update from name to full name? But is there a way to know now that this name was previously named, which was full name now? Is there a snapshot of the previous configuration?
Okay, I'm a bit like I'm not sure about this.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to answer that in the comments in the chat, but I think what this person is asking is, how do I look in the past? So basically, here in the code that is visible, you can see schema version is 2.
I think that is not my question. How do I look in the past? My question is,
yeah, because you want to know what is version 1, right?
No, my question was very simple. Like here we have configuration and we have schema version 2, right? So initially, what was the configuration?
Yeah, so
how the configuration object looked like when I, develop it fresh.
Right. So I'm not expert in this, but I'm
Okay.
assuming in the source control, if your project is under source control, you just look at the model Swift file, no? So whatever is this class member in version 1, that is what it is there. Like there is no SQL file or anything where you can go back and see how the version is being tracked, like the schema is being tracked, right? This is the only thing.
Wait.
Okay.
First
Thanks.
I
think we can proceed. Thanks for.
Yeah, over to you.
Okay. First of all, your question I got it. Now previously it was name, but it is now it's a full name. Am I right, Joy? Then what we did to migrate from like name to full name, we have an initial model was like with a member object with name here. But now it's updated to full name because we are doing migration from name to full name. We are also changing the member object from here. We are up now. We have an updated model. It's now with the full name, and with the when we went for the migration logic for the initial model to the updated model, we need to add migration block in a Realmm configuration. Here you can see the firstly we have the set the new schema version. What is the new schema version? And this must be greater than the previous version. Let's assume this is the previous version was 1. Here what with the this schema version, it must be a greater than the previous version. And
okay, got it. I think in the initial configuration, this migration block was not there, and since we have to
yeah,
migrate, we added it now. And
yes,
probably
yes.
schema version was 1 earlier. Now we made it
To 2.
okay.
Hopefully you got it. Yeah. So I was a bit confused because 2-3 question was combined. So here what we do, I explain each line. Like here you can see we have the migration block. You can see here. Here it's like it's set the block to migrate from old schema to the new schema, where we have 2 points via migration and old schema version. Okay. This migrations and the old schema, like old schema version, I told you that it will be a 1 and it should be a lesser than the new schema version. So here we are ensuring that the all the object from the member class, from class name, where we are from name to giving to full name. So hopefully you got Pawan Yachai, who asked this question, that how it's work.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, Amitesh, I have one doubt. Suppose in existing model, we have full name and Gmail ID. Now, in a new model, or suppose if I want to add one more property, like phone number or something. So, how app or model will work? How database will work? So by default, user don't have that property, right? So how to add, or in new, do we need to increase the schema version and then add the property name? Or how can we continue to add new properties to existing model?
Yeah, somewhere we are migrating. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In scene delegate, we are migrating.
Yeah, we are migrating. Let's assume we previously we have only name file. Now we are migrating to full name. Not name, name and like your subtitle, whatever. Then somewhere we have to be what the new schema we will keep. It will be higher than older one, whatever you have older one schema.
Yeah, correct. My doubt is how to add new property. Currently, you have two properties. I'm not renaming because here I can clearly see migration.rename property. So I can understand you are using member object. Then from name to full name, you are changing the property name so that it will work. But my doubt is how to add new property. Currently, two you have, right? Full name and Gmail ID. I want to add new property to existing member model. How to do that?
Okay, got it. Let's assume you are adding new properties like address inside your. So first of all, you have to be a object updated object member class. Here it should be a you need to be add a dynamic variable object into address where your whatever you have a particular you can say address. Am I right? This is new property.
New property. Yeah.
Okay. This is the new property. And when we are somewhere we are migrating from the previous model to new model. Okay. Am I right?
Correct.
And we need to increment the schema version 2 and define how each object should be transferred to the new schema version. Because we have to be increment here, like inside the skin delegate schema version 3.
Yeah, correct.
And this should be a
it will become 3. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, correct.
And again, when we are trying to migrate the address, we have to be create migrations, whatever migration of let's assume we have migrations dot enumerated object we use.
Okay.
This type of will be a member where we are trying to update dot class name. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this particular will contain object plus new object inside this.
Okay.
And the old object, we are not any changing, we are not renaming anything. Am I right?
Yeah, we don't have any new property like address.
Yeah. So here we are migrating a new object particular address.
Got it.
Yeah, we can say it's since by default what
New property or keeping empty. Okay.
yeah. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Always remember when we are trying to migrating from we are changing the model, we have to be at the schema.
Increase the schema version.
Yeah. Okay. Sasank, I will say that always remember whatever your schema version and your app version, like both are independently. You can change your schema version multiple times, whatever, and it doesn't impact your app with app version particularly. Okay, I'm hoping you will got about migration notification and all the things. And like efficient queuing, how we can make best practices for using Realm, how we can efficient queuing, we can add concurrency, because somewhere Realm is not thread set. So we have to be create particularly like make a like Realm instances are not thread set, so we use a separate instance for background thread, like so we have to be make like inside the dispatch queue in the background async, where we initialize with particular members class, yeah, whatever you want to be perform the operation on the background thread. So always remember Realm is not a thread set. We have to be make a reference and allow it to copy instances, and when we create to another thread, you wait. Using Realm notification, we have seen that whatever you are updating inside the code, particularly in the view controller, it's an observable number. This particular what the recent notification token, it's help to it's a part of Realm object, whatever we are updating inside the schema, inside the model, it's notify the particular controller, and then it's update in the particular versions. So we always keep in this inside mind that like for database, large database, we are handling data efficiently, and we whatever we have instance we have created, and we are updating anything inside the Realm. So it notifies like quickly on and it's a normally it's a powerful feature that allow to respond the changes in your database, which is a real time, in a real time. Most of the big companies use on in a real time, like Growth and Stock, and many companies who use working on the real time database and want to be save data inside in disk and to use concurrently. So we use this property, and mostly in particularly controller we define like what member type recent member notification we needs. So you can see the particular recent notification what we have added. Yeah, members notification. like recent member, what we have changes. So it update the particular table view in initial what is what was the data, and then it's we if we are updating anything, so it concurrently update the data member to so UI. And uh, mainly it is like when we work with the Realm in iOS application, we have to be set up observer on Realm object, yeah, collection, whatever you use. Yeah, basic, we can say it is a basic example to Realm notification in iOS application. And what is doing, it is observing the changes to the list of the object, what the results we have the member models we have created. Somewhere we have added full name, email ID, and addresses, and we are showing on the particular database. So suppose if we have a member list view controller, inside the we have defined the particular you can see the notification token, and this particular which type of recent member notification. Yeah, it's a member notification token. It's we are observing anything from the view model to controller, so we have to be create a notification in a controller. So part, and for efficient query, let's assume I have added Pawan @gmail.com. I wanted the data. Wait. The data we added, it's the recent data. It is a recent data, but it is now showing that it is like third in a list. So we have added the fetch members, result member in a like particular, because we are storing the time join date or which time we have added, and we are doing filter with the join date, like sorting the on the basis of join date. So just see, it's called the fetch members from the view model. So we whatever here we are calculating the particular current date, what times, and we are passing the join date particular, and we are sorting the data. Somewhere we are sorting the data. See, it's apparently notification, whatever what the notification work here, like it take the input from the like fetch member advanced query, like you can see the fetch members, what the current and date by adding, and whatever date you have added in the particular Ravi Amitesh. So it's save, and on the basis of recent data we can we get it. For now, hopefully we clear about like concurrency, Realm notification, efficient querying, and now it's come to the like how we can use for a starter with Realm script. So this is created. I have created like when we interact as a user, when interact with app like for Android, iOS. First of all, iOS applications, and whatever it will do, like yeah, we can read, yeah, we can write the data. So Realm database, now it came here, and Realm database, it sync with the backend and backend server, whatever, and whatever the managed data, and then let's assume we want any update, yeah, we want to sync the data. So we will talk with Realm database internally, whatever it's happening, it's sync with backend. Yeah, for as a user, for as a developer, we don't need to be thinks about this complex thing. We have to just clear that we have created a schema of the particular Realm database, and we are migrating the all the things in a simple way to you can say that centralized execution order, modular approach for larger app, dedicated we have gated database configuration, migration, that we discuss how a new migrated model we can call and how we can configure the thing. It is very like easy way to set up Realm with or particular application. And from benefits, what we can give: efficiency, reactivity. We have seen that whatever we are deleting, the UI stay reactive and consistent with the underlying data. What the minimum efforts we can say on the developer part, we just write a one line of code. We are deleting, we are writing. Simplicity, we can say that this code structure is like simplified as a Realm handle, such as the complexity of observing and responding to data changes. For observing, we just need to clear the notification token in a controller, and which type of data we are notifying, updating to table view, collection view. We don't need to think about much of like updating. And so this use of Realm is a live object and notification don't only enhance user experiences, but like immediate feedback, but also ensure that your app's data layer or UI are tightly integrated with minimal code, whatever you are performing. I'm hoping that you got all the how the Realm, why it's important, how it's works. Now you can ask any questions you have.
Yeah, Amit, if you want to see the data, so we don't able to see that, right? Just like in SQLite, we will go to that path and we will see the data like that way.
Yeah, ask question. What is your question?
Can we see the data, whatever is stored in the database?
Yeah, we can see whatever we I didn't install because I don't know why my Realm is not working. We can install the just like MongoDB, everyone database, like we have to be installed in the particular applications for a developer, whatever for particular user. So we can see, but now I was trying to install, but I don't know why it did not install. Fetching and sorting data, the question, like when using database for any data framework like core data, Realm, even custom data, like it's a very, we have using their own function and sort data. And like you can say it's a Realm built in the capability and using Realm is the given context that's I have provided to fetching data with the recent date, what data we have added. Did you get?
Yeah, and how we can perform joins and all if you want to do.
Yeah, you can see here.
System to get
but particularly how it is performing any joint. Let's assume in a particular Realm we have we have a particular like one model, it's related with the customer ID, customer detail. One model, it's a customer account details. In Realm, when we define the relationship using property, so we have to be a collection of Realm object, and we use list object. Particularly here I have explained this. Wait. Yeah, sorry, I forget this. You can see add any like particular group. Yeah, if we are performing anything related to with the relationships, we have to be a use a collection of Realm objects, and its name is list object when we are trying to perform the particular relationship in query. Like although we can't perform a SQL join in Realm, always remember we can navigate relationship in our queries to fetch related data. But like just we have seen inside the SQL, we try to make a join to fetch the particular data, but in a Realmm we can't perform a SQL join. So whatever, if you want to fetch all the member of a specific team, yeah, we can make a query for the team first. And yeah, let's assume I need the recent data, so somewhere I make a join to show the particular recent data. So Realm service, we have added the query, we didn't made a longer join. And remember, in a particular Realm, join doesn't work.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Anything apart from this? Could you please let me know? Is it free to use? Yeah, it is a part of MongoDB. Somewhere it take money, but for now, for like some data user, we can use like if we need any dynamic feature, we need to pay. But most of the time, we don't need to be like need money for this. And how does it compare to Firebase and Firestore? Somewhere Firebase and Firestore is different. We are like Firebase, we can use like a database, but it's like disk memory database, where it's quite different. Like if we are saving any data in the Firebase, your application will delete, and data will not delete. But if your application related, if anything you are added with the RAM, it will be deleted. So it's totally different than Realm. What would be easiest way to sync our local database data to remote if we don't have any backend server? So most of the time it's totally depend upon what you need. Let's assume if your application is doing only CRUD operation, has some listing the data, that times it doesn't need. But somewhere if you are fetching and implementing the like on Realm with your application, that times it needed.
Yeah, hi Amitesh, sorry to interrupt. I think just interest of time, I think we can stop the question. I think probably people can ask offline.
Yeah, sure. If you have any question, you can ask on my LinkedIn anywhere. Yeah. Thank you everyone for your patience. I'm hoping that all of you will enjoy the talks, and please let me know how it's talks in the comment section. I will appreciate for your feedback and anything you'll provide. Yeah. Then I'm closing this session. So please let me know if you have any question on my LinkedIn, or you can connect on my LinkedIn, Amitesh Tiwari.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Amitesh, for the session.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, moving on to our next session by Anubhav Singh. So he is basically iOS developer at Global Satellite Engineering. Yeah, a warm welcome, Anubhav. Yeah. So all yours. Please.
Thank you so much. Can you give me permission to share my screen?
Oh, yes, Anubhav. Just a minute.
You can try, it should work.
Yes, sir. Is it visible?
Yes.
So, hi, everyone. First of all, good afternoon and good afternoon. I hope you all are enjoying your life and making it better every day. First of all, thank you, Amitesh, for an amazing presentation about Realmm. But I will definitely come back to you about how Codata is better than Realmm. So let's move on to my topic, open source. So I'm here to talk about open source. It's like one puzzle with 4 parts. Basically, it's just a new catalyst which helps you in your developer journey. And with the 4 parts, the first is about the open source basic understanding, the awesome stuff about it, benefit of course, what to do and what not to do, and the last, how to get started. That's it. But before we deep dive in, let me tell you a bit about myself. I am iOS developer at JSC, Global Satellite Engineering, and part-time research associate at Smita Lab. And I love to contribute to open source, as you saw in my experiences with open source. I was part of amazing open source events with PLC Media Player and Amai during Google Summer of Code, and I worked with Alibaba on open application model. And I mentored aspiring developers in Swift mentorship program in 2021, basically for the UI. So today I will share my experience in the world of open source. So most common questions asked by young developers: what is open source and what is open source contributions? So most of the time they are a little bit confused between those terms, both the terms, like what is open source and what is open source contribution. To answer this, it is most of the time I answer them. It is quite different than what YIMDB tells you on YouTube. So open source, as a definition, it is open source software is a type of software whose code is publicly available to use and modify. Best example as Telegram, Wikipedia, Firefox, web browser, and a lot of them which we use every day. And what about the open source contribution? So open source contribution actually involves contributing to the development or improvement of open source software. So it is in the simple terms, modify that open source software according to your convenience without any resistance of externals. Like if you want to modify your own application, which is available on open source, you can definitely go for it and make it more beautiful according to you and change those features which you feel is going to worth to use with you. Okay, so first of all, before moving ahead, like what to do, what not to do, how we do, as we Indians, we just love to know what about the benefits. Is it worth to try open source development or contributions? So for me, it is worth it to contribute to open source, majorly when you are a beginner and you don't have anything on your resume. Just go for the open source, which helps you a lot about in your learning of the big basics. So first thing is like first benefits of contribution to open source is skill development. You can improve your coding skills through a real life project because in the very early days of yours, you must try an academy and other open source tutorials and you just copy and paste things. But whenever you are looking for some real life experiences and want to learn coding, not just by copying and pasting, so you can try open source contributions and go for any open source code projects, and you can try out. And as well as you learn new technologies, frameworks, good practices, and gain experience with collaboration, tools like GitHub. And most important is that you build a confidence to work with any code base after working with a good open source project. And the second important benefit, which I feel, is impact on your resume. So imagine you are a second year student in your college and you are looking for internship or any job roles. And in the college days, we most of the time we learn about basic skills about C, C++, but we don't have much experience in real life projects. Just imagine you have a bunch of students and one which one have a good understanding of projects just because he started his contribution to open source and he has good experience with the projects like Amai or VLC or Brave. So it is quite impactful for your resume that if the recruiter just show that, wow, this person is really amazing, he's contributing to open source and have good experience in big projects. So it will definitely impact your resume. For me, it always, whenever I try to find a job, I just send my resume and it will never get rejected. So impact on your resume is one of the most benefit for contributions. Third is professional connections. Most of there are a few members in this chat also, which I made just because of my open source contributions with Swapnil, Rudrank. In 2022, we started working on for the Google Summer of Code. So you can build a professional communication over doing open source contributions to any projects. Even currently, I'm working with the global satellite engineering, and that job is basically given by one of my mentor in open source project from the VLC. So it is really important that if you are basically from somewhere from the tier 3 colleges and you're looking for a good ambition, like you want to work for a good Salesforce or good projects, then first is skill development and impact on your resume, and most important part, professional connections is all are the importance. So and communication skills, like if you just started learning and from a background where you don't have much communication gaps between others, then it will definitely help you to communication in your communication skills to improve and have conversation with your project mentors and other developers. As I said, like confidence to work with any code base, just because you work with as one of the excellence projects like Brave or any project, you will definitely have a confidence to work for any code base because you already you have experience with such code bases where the project is from working from the last 8 or 10 years. So it is quite beneficial as we are discussing about the benefits of contribution. The confidence to work on any code base is amazing, and job opportunities. So I feel like after contributing to open source, the first question is that is it benefit to contribute or not? So for me and majority of developers whichever I have a conversation, they are always appreciate the contribution to open source and try to find a way to encourage other people to just come and contribute to open source. It will definitely help you in your career building, in back on your resume and job opportunities. Okay, so how to start? So before we moving towards the how to start to contribute to any project. The important thing is that how to select a project to contribute. Like if you just by mistake, if you choose a wrong project to contribute, maybe you can lose your interest to contribute to any project or going with this journey. So there are few points which I feel is very important to choose any project. Is it good to go with the contribution or not? And is it helpful in your future that whenever you are after spending that much of time, is it good to go with your resume, or it will impact on your resume or not? So for that, I used to put my projects under 3 or 4 check marks, that is it follow up all these questions or not. I'm getting chats. Okay, so first thing is before choosing the project, just go for its GitHub project or GitLab project or anywhere where the project is based. Just understand that is it the project is active or not, because sometimes and you can figure it out by just looking at like the basic difference is that active is you can find that last commit when the last commit is happening to this project, and is it archive or not. So please don't select any project which is public archive. So it means it is inactive, and you don't have any. No one is going to help you for this project. And there are few checkpoints, as I said, but in terms of active projects, you can check the last commits, last PRs, and most important, it is archive or not, and activity on public communication channels. And so yeah, this is the first check mark which you can fix, that is it the project is active or not. The second is like analysis of knowledge and expertise required for this project. Just understand that if you just a beginner in iOS and you just select the Wikipedia or Brave iOS project and you are not able to understand how it is going on, so it will backfire, and maybe you go through the lost the interest in iOS as well as from the open source. So always analyze your knowledge and expertise required for the project. Is it you can do for basic research about what are the technologies they are using. Is it that technologies which you have hand-on practices, or some projects is really difficult which you cannot go if when you are a beginner. So choose wisely, like don't always go with the projects which is really hard to find, that if there is any issues or bugs which I can fix in the beginning as a good first issue, but choose according to your knowledge and your expertise. And the last is organization reputation. So as we show in the second slide, is it important how it is benefit for your resume. So like if the organization reputation is nice, then only it will help you to build your resume and make a better connection in professional world. So the project must be active, at least must be activated every week, some contributions and analysis of your knowledge and expertise required for the project is important, and organization reputation. So at least if you tell someone like you are working with the VLC media player, then everybody know that this is the project which we use every time when from the childhood. So it will impact on your resume. But if you just contributing to any random open source project which don't have any reputation, or someone who just build a project and put on GitHub without knowledge, you are just fixing grammar errors, then that will not help. So I feel these are 3 points which you can check mark. as whenever you are going for any open source contributions, like it is active analysis of your knowledge and expertise required for the project and organization reputation. Okay, so before going to do, moving forward about what to do, first, there are so many times when I was in the college, we do a lot of errors while doing open source, basically in Google Summer of Codes. So before going forward about what to do, I'm just about to discuss what not to do first. So private repo, because it is like open source is open for everyone. So if you are creating same project in the private repo and sharing with your mentor or maintainer, it is really bad. It really backfire and make very bad impact on your file. And sometimes even I have experienced, one of my friend did this and share with the mentor, and he just put on the LinkedIn that this guy is doing this kind of thing. So don't do this. Private repo is a red flag for open source. So don't just go and private any repository. And if you select any project and want to contribute and you are aware about every technical aspects and your guidelines, but you ignore the project guidelines like basic understanding of what kind of syntax they are using, what design pattern they are using. You are just want to contribute to random without going through the project guidelines, then it will not. You just don't need to do that. Even if you, as if we divide the part like how we started the project, then the first thing is like you just build the project, and the second thing is most important is project guide, and you need to read the project guideline, which is very important for any project, because every project choose different way of doing the work. They have different guidelines. You cannot share any screen or anything. So just read the project guideline first. Don't ignore it. Whenever like ignore, don't do DMs to anyone. I have had experience with one of the colleague who we fight for a project. So don't do DMs for any maintainer, other developers or anyone for just to shake your attention. Don't DM and neglect communication between, if there is any communication is happening on public channels, you can go to it and contribute and share your feedbacks and share your knowledge, but don't do DMs. As I said, like it is open source, so everything is open. Don't do DMs. Interact in public communications. At the last, we first understand how to start, because I feel there are few developers who is really beginners here, and even if they want to learn how to contribute, just go. First and most important is the Git. So first understand the basic working of Git. Start exploring the GitHub or open source projects in iOS platforms like GitHub, GitLab, and all. So Git is very important. Even I know so many developers who have really good experience in development, but they don't have much experience in the Git or other version control systems. So as a developer, I feel it is really important. So before moving ahead, just understand the workings and basic principles of Git. It's really important. And as we mentioned in the initial phase of this slide, this process about selecting a project. So by choosing and taking all the aspects of your project, choose at least 3 or 4 interesting projects which you feel is interesting according to your knowledge and your expertise and your interest and your skill levels. choose at least 3 or 4 projects, because there are sometimes the communication is not going to happen, and there are few fixed number of developers is contributing to a single project, and mentors and maintainers are more focused towards them. So try to choose at least 3 or 4 interesting projects. If there is any competition or any events is going on, like Google Summer of Code, Alibaba Summer of Code, anything, so this will really help. So choose at least 3 interesting projects according to your knowledge and expertise or interest. And when you start, after all these parameters of how to start, what not to do, and how to select the project, it is one of the most difficult part in the open source is build the project. So for the building the project, it is more difficult, but it is a really good learning process. So it can be tricky, but don't worry, it's a great learning experience. You can take help of maintainers and mentors of the project. If you just build the project, half of your battle is over. After it is like 50% part of your journey to start your contribution to open source. So building a project is really difficult in the open source industry or open source in the open source standards. Like, it is difficult to just build the project. So take help of mentors and maintainers, and try to use your own knowledge. Believe me, it is worth and it is great learning experience. As I said in the earlier, read the documentation and guidelines, which is really important to start. And after building the project and all, resolve, you can find good first issues or easy issues, which is mostly documentation basis. Example repository, I'm coming into upcoming slides. Like, I will share some good projects in the open source which you can go forward as and ask. For the coming slides, I will show you some good projects where you can start with. So you can find any project which is well recognized, like VLC and all. You can find good first issues, and don't go for so many. It is basically created to just give some experience to beginners that how you can start your contribution. And most of the good first issues are like typos or grammatical errors or very basic bug fixes. So in my opinion, just go for max 3 good first issues. If you are going to start just fixing all the good first issues, that doesn't make any impact on anywhere. Even it will create a burden for maintainers, because they just want to create some good first issues for the new developers who wants to just come and want to get handy with the code base and understand how this project works. For that, they get good first issues. And more important about, if it is a journey, but if you are selected the project and everything is going well, discuss the issues, features with mentors or maintainers about the issue, features, share your views about the issue and new features. Open issues, request features. And one of the very basic thing is that if you find any problem or have idea, open issues or request new features. Open the issue, even if you are not able to resolve that bug or that feature, you don't know how to implement this feature. Just open the issue or mark as new feature which you feel that sometimes developers hesitate to open new issues when they are not able to understand how to resolve this issue. Don't worry about that. Just if you find any issue, any bug, just open the issues from there. Just going to the GitHub And if you feel that there are some features which is missing in this project, you can just raise on communication channels as well as on GitHub. Even if you are not able to uh, resolve or solve or implement that feature from your own. Okay, so as Jan asked, like few best iOS projects to contribute, in my opinion, is like all those parameters which we feel in the last few slides, like what are the uh, uh, like must be active and have good maintainers, have a good really conversation. So in my opinion, Wikimedia is one of the first, which is really great. Even few days before I applied for Wikimedia as an iOS developer, and they just asked me, do you contribute to our project anytime? So I share that I contributed to VLC because one of my favorite project is VLC iOS for that. But right now I'm more towards the Wikipedia iOS. So you can check out your check your boxes according to your learnings, your interests. But for me, Wikimedia VLC is really interesting project. And if you are a beginner and want to contribute to iOS, basically in open source, so you can go for Simple Note. It is an easy project, easy to build. And Signal iOS is really interesting projects. If you are intermediate or you have much experience in iOS, you can definitely go with the Signals. So, is there any question if someone wants to ask? Okay. So it's just about that. Deep into open source, become a coding rock star, learn new skills, make your resume shine, and meet awesome developers from anywhere, fix bugs, add cool stuff, and feel proud of your work. So jump in, have fun, let's create amazing things together. Thank you. Time for Q&A. Who got the questions? Anyone? Any questions? Thank you, Pawan. I think no one have any questions. If there is any question, you can definitely ask me through LinkedIn or Twitter. Most of the time, active on LinkedIn and Twitter both. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for it. Thank you so much, Sir Guru, for amazing audience and this amazing meetup. It is. We are looking for more physical meetups. Let's try and figure it out. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Can anybody please confirm? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Anubhav, for the amazing session. Thank you for guiding us through all the do's and don'ts and sharing your experience with us. Thank you. So, moving on to our last session for today, I would like to welcome Rudrank Riyam. So he's basically a developer for the Apple platforms. Yeah. Hi, Rudrank.
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, you are.
So let me share my. Can you give me the permission to share my screen?
Yes. Just a minute, please. Yeah.
You can try.
Just give me 1 second. So I have shared my screen. I hope it is visible.
Yes, yeah.
So let's start. So last year, I realized I got a lot of opportunities that were just beyond writing code, and I want to share some thoughts on a topic that I feel has elevated my iOS career, which is personal branding. So hello everyone, my name is Rudrank, and today I want to take you on my journey of sharing knowledge online and putting myself out there, speaking at different meetups and conferences, and getting opportunities that I never thought were possible. To give a brief introduction about myself, I have over the past 6 years developed for different Apple platforms, starting my career with iOS, then moving on to watchOS projects, then macOS at Apple, working on voice control, then iPadOS and tvOS consultation, and now finally exploring visionOS. I have written 100 blogs on my blog website and almost 100 more paid articles. I've authored 4 books and I'm working on a few more this year. I have spoken at 5 conferences and a dozen of meetups, and I am proud to call myself a WWDC scholarship winner. The motivation for this talk is something I wish I had heard when I started out as an iOS developer, or even a few years into my learning, because I think I could have gotten a better mentorship and opportunities earlier in my career. And I feel personal branding does not have to be as complicated as it sounds. When you are an iOS developer, you may have heard the famous quote by Steve Jobs, which is something along the lines: you cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. Now that I'm further along in my iOS journey, I can see how all the little decisions and actions I made over the past several years led to where I am today. I divided the talk into 4 eras, connecting the dots backwards, that encompasses my personal journey, while I share my practical learnings about personal branding. So let's travel back in time, connecting the dots from 2017, the accidental era. I got myself a shiny MacBook Air in my freshman year of college, and I was very excited about it. However, my classmates, who all had Windows machine, told me that it was useless as it could not play any games. So I wanted to do something that their machines could not, and that's how I stumbled upon iOS development. I found a Udemy course by Angela Yu, which was very beginner friendly, and that got me hooked into writing simple and clean Swift. I did not own an iPhone at that time. I had an iPod Touch to try out the sample apps. I would work during the classes and after classes in college. The funny thing was, I suddenly became the iOS guy in my college because nobody else was developing for the iPhone. That bit of knowledge was about to become my first accidental personal branding win. A senior in my college needed someone to build the iOS version for their Android counterpart app, and the first recommendation that my friends gave them was me. I got my first internship and I created 2 apps for them, and I learned a lot in the process. But at the back of my mind, it got me thinking, if a little bit of knowledge made this much difference for me as a college kid, what kind of opportunities could I create if I got serious about improving my iOS skills? That's when I decided to invest my time into learning. The next few years turned out to be the turning point in my life as well as my career. In one of the student WhatsApp group that I was part of, I randomly saw an online meetup about scholarships and summer programs. I thought I should join it. What's the harm? I will learn something new. From that, I got to know about the discussion about a summer program called as Google Summer of Code, where you work on an open source project with an open source organization. Anubhav already gave us a great description about how open source works and why you should contribute to it. And about this Apple WWDC scholarship, where you submit an app and Apple provides you with the ticket if you win and an accommodation in San Jose. From that group, I met Singh, who won the scholarship a year before me, and he helped me with all my doubts and queries about the scholarship. I went all in on my project and created a 3D and AR game for children with autism, which was inspired by my mother, in 10 days. Fortunately, I won the scholarship and then flew to San Jose to attend the conference. At that time, everyone was posting about this on social media. So I decided I should do it as well to combat the fear of missing out. And because everyone was posting about being at WWDC, I did too, because some attention and validation doesn't hurt, right? You can literally see I was posting anything and everything about WWDC. When I look back, one major mistake and a funny thing I did when it came to networking and meeting new people was that I was just handing this card to anyone I met, did some small talk with them, and moved on to the next person to hand them a new shiny card. Giving business card felt I was doing personal branding right, but when I look back, I realized that making one or two meaningful connections is infinitely more valuable. So after I came back, I realized I wanted to socialize more with people offline and make genuine connections with them. So I got the ticket to Swift India conference and networked with only a few dozen of people, got to know them better, followed them on socials, and it was much more fun than just handing them shiny cards. I also started looking at meetups to attend in my city, and I attended Swift Delhi back in 2019, where I was one of the few college students. When I was sitting in the audience, I would look at the speaker and go, wow, it must be so cool to share your knowledge with people and have them listen to them so patiently. But I did not know what would happen next. I was wearing the WWDC scholarship t-shirt and people were excited to know about my experience. So after the meetup ended, the organizer gathered a group of people and asked me to share my experience with them. I was scared. I was so hesitant, but I shared my knowledge anyway with them. As you can see, I was sweating like anything in the picture, but I really enjoyed the process of sharing my knowledge. So I filled the call for paper for the next meetup and then gave a full 45 minutes talk on voiceover accessibility, which was my Google Summer of Code project. After that, I just started going to each one of them, giving talks on topics like voice control and dynamic types, and making friends that I am still in contact with and hang out with. This is something I would encourage you to do as well. I think a lot of you are from Bangalore, so you can attend the Bangalore meetup, the offline one, as an attendee or as a speaker. Sharing your knowledge is fun. And if you have an aim to become a conference speaker, then you can record your video at the meetup and then use it as a proof that you can speak well. If you want to make more friends from around the world, I recommend you join iOS Dev Happy Hour, which happens online every month, and there are like 150 to 200 people. There are like two time zones that they usually have. One is, I think, 11:30 p.m. for us, and other is 8:30 p.m. for us, which alternates every month, so which is much more accessible to us. Coming back to my journey, I continued working on Swift UI projects, and one day I saw that Apple was hiring accessibility engineers. I took my shot. I asked them that if they were hiring interns as well. Surprisingly, they were, and they referred me for the position based on the talks that I had given, plus the accessibility work I had done for Google Summer of Code. and I got an interview in a few months. Instead of the usual lead code questions, I was grilled on voice control, the technology that I was supposed to work on. But because I had researched so much about it when I was giving a talk in my city's meetup, I was easily able to clear the interview. And I ended up interning with the voice control team. This is what I loved about the power of sharing knowledge. I just did not know how it would turn out like this when I gave that talk. But the knowledge I gathered with sharing with others ended up helping me in a way I never thought was possible. As the saying goes, the best way to learn something is to teach it. When you share your knowledge, you're not only helping others, but you're also reinforcing your skills and expertise. I realized that my strength is writing, but you can choose whatever medium suits you the best. You can write blog posts, you can create YouTube tutorials, maybe just share micro code snippets on socials that you found interesting, or give talks at local meetups or conferences. The key is to start and start small and consistently put yourself out there. Also, it is a long term game. You cannot change the direction of a large ship quickly. It takes a lot of little steps over time. You choose a platform and medium that fits your style to begin. I chose Twitter because it was just 280 characters or an image instead of doing videos on YouTube because I was not comfortable with my spoken English back then. I understand there are time constraints on working on a full-fledged blog post or an in-depth YouTube video. To give an example, after a full day of college, I would work on my app. Then during my metro commute back home, I would tweet about what I learned or maybe share a code snippet. I do not have a picture of me tweeting, so here's one of the random metro stations in Delhi. But I did it very consistently. I would set aside a slightly longer session in a week, maybe a few hours on a Saturday or Sunday morning. I use that time to batch create a lot of tweets or outline a few blog posts. Then I would work on them during the week or the month. It meant that I was sacrificing a bit of my weekend relaxation, but I saw them as an investment in my career. But it wasn't as rosy as I expected it to be. I had my fair share of breakdowns on socials as well, which I think is important to mention. I think everybody has these moments of doubts. Even the developers that you admire online, I assume they have all been there. The key is not to let the negativity win. The best part was the friends I made along the way who supported me no matter what along my journey, and that made a lot of difference. The next few years were about understanding the need for personal branding, which I call the standing out era. I had solved a lot of questions on lead code and I did not like it at all. I also have a repository where I would share all my solutions, but I felt I could have used that time to build more stuff instead or do development. So I wanted to make a career where I did not had to interview for such questions. And one of the ways I thought was going all in on freelancing. That year, one of my friends got reached out for a SwiftUI role for a text messaging app. And at that time, he was mostly doing UI kit. But he had seen me tweet a lot about SwiftUI and my open source work, as well as a tweet about me being open for part-time contracting. So he referred me and that person reached out to me. I loved their product and it was a full Swift UI project back in 21. So it felt like a dream. I had a call with them. We discussed the compensation, the work hours as a contractor, and that's how I got my first freelance project. I decided to give up on my full-time career, a full-time offer at a startup I was interning with, and risked with a freelance career straight out of college. I started searching for more freelance projects after my first one, but saw that websites like Fiverr and Upwork were too crowded. So I thought the only way I could stand out was to make a name for myself, aka personal branding. I already had some good audience on Twitter, so I started searching for freelance gigs on Twitter instead. I would go on the search bar and type for looking for iOS because that was a pattern that I found worked very well for finding new gigs. I found a few. I would cold DM them with my projects and just get the conversation going without any expectations. I was lucky enough that the first few I messaged, I was able to convince them with my skills thanks to the portfolio of apps that I had and the knowledge I had shared on socials. On the other hand, I started writing and sharing more. I was working on widgets at that time, and I did not see other people sharing how accessibility works. So I explored and experimented with voiceover, voice control, and dynamic type, and decided to summarize all of my experimentations into one big article. This is, I feel, the best way on finding something to write about is just to scratch your own itch, which means if you find something that you couldn't find online and you were able to find a solution, so you would want to share that knowledge with other people as well. Surprisingly, this article was well received in the iOS community, and a few months later, I got a mail from a technical writing manager that they read this article and they loved it and wanted me to write for them. It was so amusing because I was already writing for free, and now I get paid to write the same article related to Swift and Swift UI. It felt like a dream come true. I wrote one related to Swift UI grids, and it was the start of my writing career. When I posted that on socials, I got a message from another startup to write for them. And over the next few months, it became kind of a chain reaction where I would post a blog post and I was receiving more opportunities because I was trying to put myself and my work out there as much as possible. I took up more freelance work from Twitter and LinkedIn, and I was learning so much from them that I started to write a lot more, to the point that I was writing one article a day. I could feel myself being a little known in the iOS community when my articles were featured in different newsletters every month. And with each article that I shared, or every tweet that I shared about my work, I would get to know more people and make new friends. This was the power of social media, which I did not imagine before. I realized the best possible way to market myself or create a brand was to add value in others people's life. In our case, it is providing value sharing knowledge about iOS development or other Apple platforms development. As you saw in the Realms talk, it was so comprehensive and people loved having that conversation going with so many questions. And it really, I was very inspired by that. So personal branding simplified for four things. The first one was being myself, where I would share the stuff that I would find interesting. The way I solved questions in Swift UI, that I thought what made me unique. The second was show my work. This is something I think we all struggle with because for me the idea is that no matter how small, I would tweet about my progress and put all those side projects up, even if they end up in the side projects graveyard, and share the code snippets. It was a proof of what I can do and also a proof of my thought process as a developer. The third one is to bring others along on my journey, tell them about my failures and the aha moments. That's how we bring this community growth and bring this community together. And finally, it was the freedom of work, of choosing what I want to work on and the time when I want to work on it. I kind of got a gist of how personal branding or marketing yourself works. I wanted to be consistent across my socials, so I decided to have an identical persona. So if you find me on GitHub through my code and see me again on Twitter, you can recognize me instantly. When you look at my Twitter, you see I use my full name and my username, but you can have it whatever suits you. I have an image where I'm speaking at a conference, but it can be an emoji too. It depends on your preference. For my LinkedIn, I use the same profile picture, banner, and bio that describes who I am and what I'm working on. I'm developing for Apple platforms. I'm a technical writer and author and a conference speaker. And what I have realized is that the WWDC scholarship winners have this small community that you can instantly connect with. So I prefer to add that in my bio as well. My GitHub has the same information, and I also made a more detailed about me page so that people and my future clients can more easily understand my strengths and my expertise. I do not use Mastodon much, but still try to keep it up to date. And when I tweet too much, this is how I want people to feel, that everywhere they go, they just see my face. One of the developers that I look up to is Antion, and you may have read his blog post on evanderly.com. I think he has done his personal branding right, and we all can take inspiration from him. He has a call to action to follow him for Swift, iOS, and Xcode related content, and he promotes his app with a selling point that it lets you build your app faster. His LinkedIn tells more about his profession while having a professional bio of giving a talk. His GitHub showcases his open source work, and when you finally stumble upon his website, you can see the similar orange branding and the same profile picture that instantly makes you recognize, oh, that's Swiftly. After setting up the foundation of personal branding, I continued with my work, but now was the time to reap some unexpected rewards. To give you some context on what it will be about, I spent a good amount of my time on Apple Music and Spotify listening to music. I'm passionate about music, and it was my dream to work on a music app. I worked on a technical article on building music chat app with Swift UI, but at that time, the Apple Music APIs were a pain to work with. Same year, Apple released Music Kit, which simplified working with Apple Music API and was created with Swift UI and async await in mind. I just loved it, but because it was a new framework, nobody wrote about it. So I thought I should go and share my knowledge related to it. I wrote a lot of blog posts about it and also a book related to it. Surprisingly, because I was putting myself so much out there, I got reached out by Apple to interview for the Music Kit team. As I was not sure if I wanted to relocate to Cupertino, I had to let go of that opportunity, and I continued working with Music Kit as an independent developer. I created a framework, Musodora Kit, which started as a wrapper around Music Kit and is now much more powerful than Music Kit itself. I open sourced it and have been working on it for the past 2 years. This is something what Anubhav's talks also helps in, because putting all of my work, everything, open sourcing all of my work and having people use that is something, it feels good as well as it helps you with a lot of opportunities as well. Initially, nobody was using it. I was using it in my apps, but slowly the developers started using it in their apps. I was very happy that what I worked on in my free time was providing value to others. But here is the unexpected reward. Someone on Twitter reached out to me that they're using Musadora Kit on their app and wanted to hire me for their work on their music app. This was a dream gig for me because it is a social music app. I can discover new music. It was a part time role as well as a remote job which is fully in sync, so I can also focus on my technical writing. I realized that I marketed my skills of knowing music kit, from creating blog posts to Twitter code snippets to a project or even YouTube videos, which finally led me to where I wanted to be. And as the slides say, social media requires you to be social and just put yourself and your content out there. What I learned from this experience, and this is my opinion, is that you do not have to be the best at everything iOS that is out there to stand out. You can pick one thing or a framework, whatever makes you light up, that you can talk for hours and hours. Maybe it is about performance, maybe it is about animations or building Swift packages, and become the go-to person for that. Another thing I want to mention is, remember how I made friends at Swift India 2019? I kept in touch with them over the years and they have been following me on socials. At the end of last year, one of the friends told me about a project that they were confident that I would be able to pull it off. So I worked on a project on spatial audio with Apple, and that project was showcased at Apple Mumbai in last month. This project is definitely a career highlight for me, and I don't think I could have gotten it if I didn't had put myself and my work related to working with audio out there. Personal branding is not about getting something from every interaction. Just being helpful, supportive, and curious can create a ripple effect that you cannot predict. I also do not see this branding part as something extra that I have to do now, because I genuinely want to share my knowledge, and because I'm being myself, I don't have to do anything extra. Also, do not underestimate the power of these conferences and meetups. The connections or the friends that you make here are more valuable than you think. So, completing the quote from Steve Jobs, you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. I can look at all the dots I made and how they connected together now. And with that, it's your turn to start. Think about one problem that you have solved while coding recently, no matter how small. Then turn that solution into a shareable format. It can be a micro blog post, a code snippet, or a Twitter thread, and just share it by the end of this week or this weekend or the month. You can have a picture of this meetup or an impactful slide that resonated with you, or a new friend that you will make in the breakout rooms. And then you can also share something you learn new, and use the hashtag Swift Bangalore, and you can tag me on at Rudrank and post on your preferred platform, which can be X, formerly Twitter. I still hate saying that. LinkedIn, Mastodon, or even Facebook. I cannot wait to see what all you share. And with that, I conclude my talk. So I haven't seen the chat menu. Let me see if there are any questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I see a question on starting with macOS development. I would really appreciate any roadmap and where to start from. So what I really like is this, it's not a roadmap, but it's more like getting all your basic concepts done. It's called as 100 Days of Swift and Swift UI by Paul Hudson. I did not complete it fully, but in the first 30 or 40 days, I learned enough, which was enough to get me started. And from there, I realized that it's better to not get into the feedback in the tutorial hell where you're doing a lot of tutorials again and again. And what I did, which I think really worked well for me, was working on an app that I really loved a lot. Uh, in 2019, I worked on a very small game which was called as Gradient Game, and it turned out to be really fun for me to work on that. And if I had to figure out anything, I would just search up on Google Stack Overflow and then end up creating that feature. And that's how I started out with my career. And then because I love music, I have my own many music apps that I work on, and that helps keep me up to date with the new technologies, because I want to add them in my app as well. What major chunks of money you had to invest to be able to develop on so many platforms? That's a really good question. So I would just I cannot throw a good number, but let's say when I started out college, my college fees was really, really, really less. So I could easily invest in buying a MacBook Air. I did not get a new iPhone until I had to go for WWDC, because I did not want to go with a OnePlus phone there and be the odd one out. After that, I got myself a new MacBook Pro from US, and that was from the money I got from Google Summer of Code. After I think 5 years, I got myself a new iPhone 14, which was from the freelance money. So it was like I would invest the money that I would get from freelance and technical writing back into development, because my iPhone 10R was showing its age. The current MacBook that I'm using is what I got from one of my previous employers, and then I paid like half of the money. So that was a good investment for me. I invested into the TV, Apple TV, which wasn't a significant amount, and the watch wasn't a significant amount relative to the amount I invested into MacBook. I still will not buy Apple Vision Pro because I feel it's a good chunk of investment, and I will only do that if I'm sure that I can make 4 lakhs of money or get some good projects from it. So, yep, if I have to just give a random number, I think it would be like 5 lakhs that I invested into the Apple ecosystem. Uh, I got started with Swift and Swift UI. However, I'm confused on the part where I should go with core data, Swift UI, Realm. I think every database framework has its pros and cons. If I have to use one for my personal project, I would just go with simple Swift data, because it's very easy to get started working with, but I know it also has a lot of cons. And if I have working in a company, I usually use Firebase, because that's something I've been using for the past 3-4 years, so it's easy for me. I never got myself trying out Realm. I've heard a lot about it, but I just don't see a use case to try it out unless I get a freelance project that has Realm in it that I have to maintain. Where do you hang out and how can we collaborate or throw ideas? I usually go to conferences a lot. I was just at a conference in Macedonia where I made a lot of new friends. I try my best to go to WWDC everywhere. I'm going next month with Swapnanil, I'm sorry. And how can we collaborate or throw ideas? I think the best place still out there is LinkedIn, if for the Indian developers. And if you want to collaborate with more of the international developers, then you have uh, Twitter, or you can find a lot of Discord channels where you can do that. There's also specific iOS developer Slack groups where you can just brainstorm with other people and you get a lot of perspective that you never even thought of in the first place. How can I brand my upcoming iOS projects given that I'm not active on social media, but I know I will be becoming active soon? I think the best part is to have a good README for your project. If you are putting out on GitHub or if you are putting out on App Store, just make sure that everything is done well and it looks visually good. And the second thing is creating a portfolio, which I did not touch upon, but Sean Allen is one of the, I think you may have seen him on YouTube, and he has a whole series on taking reviewing other people's portfolios, so you can take feedback from that and work on a portfolio where you brand your upcoming iOS projects, because you know that you will become active soon. So having that portfolio website of your own is something that will really help you out. So if you are talking to anybody, you can just send them the link, or this is my portfolio website, and they can check it out. And then, yep, I think that's one of the best ways that I can think of. So I don't think I missed any other questions. If you still have some questions, just let me know. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm going to organize a meetup in Delhi in next week, and I realized that a lot of people do not fill the call for paper, and I don't know the reason for it. Like I can, from my experience, I do understand that it's very difficult to be on the stage and talk about your experience, but sharing your knowledge is something. If that's something you really want to do, then these meetups are the best places to start out with, especially when they're in an offline mode, because you get to talk to a lot of more people apart from your colleagues and your friends. So yep, I think if you get a chance to attend any of the meetups, especially if they're online, you should definitely try and give an talk there. I took advantage of it back in 2021 and 22 when I gave talk at Cocoa Heads Melbourne and Cocoa Heads Sydney, Cocoa Head Myanmar. I think there was another one, Cocoa Heads Berlin, because all of them were online and I would just shamelessly go and fill the call for papers. And that's something it really helped me bec uh, become better with my public speaking, because I was really, really scared of how I used to speak in my broken English 5 years ago. And if I look back, I'm glad I took those steps. Even though I'm a very introvert person, I took those extrovert steps. So, yep, that's what I wanted to conclude with.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rudrank. I'm sure it was a wonderful session, and exactly the session which most of the newbies like me also, the kind of guidance that we needed to start off our journey with iOS and Swift. So thank you for the wonderful session by sharing your journey with us. So I think we have no more questions, and yeah. Yes, so I would like to request you all to turn on your cameras for a group screenshot, maybe just creating a memory.
And there are a couple of enterprise use cases, like one very common one is the data sharing. So we all know data is very important now. Like every enterprise, every customers will have some kind of proprietary data.
Moving forward.
So, and there
I
can
would
be
like to
further
request
use
all
which can
to
be taken by
submit
sharing.
the
One company,
feedbacks.
like say
So
a
the link
pharmacy,
is
sharing
shared in the
data
chat.
of their patients with
We do have a
hospital.
poll there. Kindly submit your feedbacks. Yeah. So parallelly continuing with the session, I'm sorry, since we are a little late in our time. So before actually getting into the, for the team behind working this, so I would like to again take this opportunity to thank all the speakers in today's session. Thank you for all your time and efforts. And also thank you everyone for joining the session. And we would also like to thank the volunteers who are working behind organizing both our online and offline meetups for Swift Bengaluru. We would like to also thank all our contributors. And here's a very quick roadmap for the year 2024 and 25. So it feels really good to tell that we are actually maintaining that consistency in organizing both online and offline meetups. So we plan to organize a meetup offline event once in a month. So online meetups twice, once in 2 months. And there are a few other things that we have planned up, like, a Swift newsletter once a month, and contributions for open source projects, and Discord channels for any kind of live discussions. So blog on Medium once in 2 months. And we are also planning for a hackathon once in a year. So this is our roadmap. And I would like to request you all to be a part of this journey of ours and Swift Bengaluru and to contribute to that. And I would like to hand it over to Sabapati to continue. Yeah.
Thank you, Kirti. So, hi team. So, I'll be continuing from here. So, this is call for volunteers. So, we need a volunteers to finding the venue host for the exclusive in-person meetup and finding the speakers for both online and in-person meetup. And who would like to be a part of our organizing team. And we have a community site. We need to keep updated. We need a volunteer for this. And we have a Discord channel where we can interact with the people, and we keep uh, we keep posting on the iOS Swift related jobs. And the volunteers who can contribute to this open source Swift and building an application for the community. Example, we have a Discord. And graphical designers and content creators for writing blogs. Yeah, so call for the collaboration. So uh, we have discussed about the call for volunteers in the previous slide. And, in the call for venue sponsors, we have a team, so they'll be helping out for checking the venues. And if you have any suggestions for the venues, and you just let us know. And, Nayan will be sending out a mail to the venues for the co-working space or any organization. And the call to the contribute is the Swift open source community. So, so we need a collaboration for these. Let's discuss in more detail. Next slide. Yeah. So in terms of the venue sponsors, so they can support the developer community, and they can we will be given the opportunity to showcase their brand at this event, and they will be given 2 slots for the technical talks and 1 for the non-technical talk from the organization. This can be cool. And next, in terms of the contribution to Swift open source, so we have discussed open source in the previous speech, and you can get any open source, and you can pick any first issue, and you can get help from our community, and you can submit the first PR. That's how we can contribute. Yeah, so now we are in the final stage, breakout rooms. So here, like the breakout rooms will helpful by interacting with the new people, and we can exchange our experience, and we can share our insights of Swift and iOS. So we'll be breaking out into different teams, different rooms, and you can engage with them. And that improves the network, and we can gain knowledge from them. So, thank you. So I have requested to join the breakout rooms. Hello. Yeah. My team, I want to thank each and everyone who gathered here for this meetup, and your passion for this fit and insightful discussion that to share the knowledge have truly made this event very special. And thank you again for the participation. We will meet you in the next event. So see you. Thank you again. Thank you. Over to Kirti.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. Please share your feedback. Okay. And please be a speaker during our next event.
Thanks, guys. Great session from everyone.
Bye everyone. Bye.
See you
Rudrank.
next event.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey Rudrank, you are in Mumbai?
I'm in Gurgaon. I went there last month for
अच्छा
that
you,
event.
अच्छा you came last month. Meetup के around आप थे यहाँ पे?
नहीं था, मैंने राज को बोला था कि अगर उस टाइम पे मीटअप है तो बता देना, बट इट वाज लाइक 4th of May and I came back on 26th April.
अच्छा अच्छा, cool cool. You guys are hosting this at WWDC watch party in Delhi?
I am not sure because I'm going to Dub.
You are going to WW.
So I don't know कौन करेगा.
अच्छा, I think there was some person, Rajiv, do you know Rajiv? In Delhi, like Rajiv Sethi from Delhi.
No, he's Raghav Sethi, Raghav.
Oh yeah, Raghav Sethi.
हाँ.
Yes,
He's
yes.
बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है मेरा.
Yeah. So he was, I think so, planning for a watch party in Delhi.
In GK.
अच्छा.
But
Nice.
I'm not sure कैसा जा रहा है because he has his engagement and इसके बाद he will have a lot of, I don't know how he will manage.
Oh, nice talk, Kev.
Thanks.
Really.
I think by the end because it got delayed, so I was like जल्दी खत्म करते हैं. In the beginning I hurried up a lot. Then in the end I was like, I'll just calm down.
Yeah, when it happens.
How are you?
I'm good, यार. तो आज तो दो मीटअप्स अटेंड किए, लाइक एक मॉर्निंग में I went for this augmented reality meetup in Mumbai.
Wow.
GG meetup. तो वहाँ पे they were teaching, it was a workshop basically. So they were teaching about this Snapchat's Lens Studio, how you can build your own AR experiences. तो आज सुबह में वहाँ पे थे and now in the afternoon I'm here.
Like, have you tried building for Vision Pro?
Not yet, yeah. Actually, yes, I have. Not right now, but when it was announced long back, at that time I had. So our app, so I work at 100 ms, so our app is compatible with Vision Pro. थोड़ा सा UI उसका और work करना है उस पे, but it is fully compatible with Vision Pro.
Good. Like, I have not got to the point